This is how to dominate nightlife solo. The first time that I ever went out by myself because I moved to a new city with my family and knew absolutely no one, I literally threw up out of sheer panic. And I didn't know how I was gonna make friends. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to talk to girls or what was gonna happen. And I was just so terrified to go and do this. And now, years later, after having developed and done everything I'm gonna teach you in this video, I recently, just this past weekend, came to a new city that I've never been to in Sweden before. And it was an absolute great time. I was making friends with ease, meeting girls. I brought one home. It was just so much fun. And this was the first time in this city. And I've done this in multiple other cities in Scandinavia, in Sweden, in Norway. I've done this in the US. So these are all the things that I've had to do in order to become the individual that I am today. The first thing that you're gonna need to do that's gonna lead to your success is be hyper social. You need to talk to everybody, guys, girls. It doesn't matter if you want a girl that night, you still need to talk to everybody. The more social you are, the more success you're gonna have. The first thing I really want you to try and take in is the key is to get into a social flow state. So here in Scandinavia, a really popular thing is pre-games. Everyone hangs out until like 11, 12 o'clock, and then they hit the clubs. When you have pre-games, which I've been invited to in the city that I just came from for the last 2 months, I made friends and I was hanging out with them. You get into that social flow state. You're there with your boys. Sometimes you go and have mixed pre-games where it's guys and girls and you're chatting with some girls, but you're already super social by the time you hit the club. So talking to people is super easy. You're already been chatting with everyone. You're super loose. You had some drinks. You're feeling good. So when it comes to going out alone, you need to kickstart that social flow state as quickly as you can. So when you're in line, you should be talking to people. Anywhere you are, I literally will meet people in the street on the way to the club and then end up talking with them on the way to the club, end up joining maybe their plans. We talk about doing something. We just end up going to a club together, stop by a bar, grab a drink. It can be guys, it can be girls, it's anyone. This happens all the time. You need to be trying to talk to people nonstop. If you don't talk to people and put yourself out there, it's gonna be very hard for you to succeed socially, make friends, meet girls, whatever your goal is. It's just not going to happen. You need to just talk with everybody. And this also doesn't mean that you need to be attached to all the people you talk to. You can kind of bounce around, talk to people, grab their numbers or Instagram snaps, whatever you want, and then, go and talk to other people. And the more you talk to, the better it's going to be for you. That's just how it works out. And you'll have more groups to kind of bounce between, check in on them, be like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Like, whatever, let's grab a drink. You can just do so much more, but you need to talk to as many people as possible. That's really the first key. And one last thing I want to say is just don't care about rejection. If guys reject you, if girls reject you, if people don't want to hang out with you, that's not a big deal. It happens all the time. You just got to move on and talk to someone who is interested, because there is plenty of people who are going to be interested in you, especially if you follow these following steps. And one thing that's going to allow you to succeed with talking to everybody is having charisma. That is why I built you a full charisma guide breaking down all the verbal, non-verbal things that you're going to want to do to succeed socially, and that's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. Now, this next thing is really important, and it's to be someone worth talking to. You need to develop yourself as much as possible. I know this may sound superficial, but this is the way the world works, and especially in nightlife, when you're trying to meet people very quickly and get them to like you, you need to be the best version of yourself. And I'm talking about, like I mentioned before, charisma. You need to be very charismatic, high energy, making people like you. You need to have a great body. If you are overweight and like say you're massively obese, you're going to struggle to have the level of success that someone who is in shape is going to have. You're just completely treated in a different way. You're going to want to have really good style. You're going to want to take care of your looks as best as you can. For example, I will clean shave. I got my electric razor. I'll do it on Friday and I'll do it again on Saturday, even though it's like barely noticeable. I just make sure I'm looking as good as possible. I, style my hair, all that stuff. I'm trying to look as attractive and presentable as I possibly can, because I know this will allow me to get my foot in the door with as many people as possible, and it's really key to your success. So you need to be doing things outside of nightlife, like building an attractive body, leveling yourself up, developing your mindset. All these things will tie in to you just being undeniable when you go out, and being able to make friends and have success with girls is just going to be a byproduct of all the work that you put into yourself. And this third thing is really valuable, and it comes down to a mindset shift of knowing that you are the man, being extremely confident in who you are. that you don't care that you're going out alone. See, I was super insecure about this when I first went out. Like I told you that story. I moved from New York to Florida with my family at 19, and the thought of going out alone brought up so many limiting beliefs and so many negative thoughts that I threw up. I was panicking. I was like, holy shit, everyone's gonna think I'm weird. I had no internal confidence. I didn't believe in myself. I'd never been social before. It was this big, scary thing. But I now, when I just came to this new city in Sweden, it's the biggest city I've ever been to. The city is huge. I had supreme confidence. I didn't feel nervous at all. This was a huge win for me, honestly. It was to go out and have literally zero anxiety. Whereas even times when I was in Norway 5 months ago, I hadn't been too social prior to that. And I went out and I was like, oh, fuck, I really just showed up to the city by myself. I got to pull things off. I had a little anxiety, the first or second night I went out, but it quickly went away as I got back into my flow of things. But the point is, you need to have confidence in who you are. When people ask me, who am I here with? If I'm here alone, I'll say I'm here alone. And I do it with a smile. I'm looking them dead in the eyes. And they're like, you're alone? I'm like, yeah, I showed up to the city. I don't have any friends yet. What do you expect? It's like, that's why I'm here. I'm chatting with you, trying to make some friends. Like, what do you expect, right? So if people don't respect that, they're probably not the type of people that you want to be around. Because everyone that I tell that I'm alone and I say it in that confident way, there's never really any objections. The only thing I ever hear from people is, holy shit, bro, massive respect for you going out alone. I could never do that. Especially girls would be like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine going out by myself, and you're so social and talking to everybody. It seems like you have friends here. They're like really impressed by what I'm able to do by myself. So I'm supremely confident, and I bring that energy as if I was friends with everybody in the club to every single night that I go out. So I don't even feel like I'm alone. Because I just can make friends so quickly that I never even really end up spending that much time alone. I'm always talking to somebody. I used to, back in the day when I was still getting into the social flow state, would sometimes have like a moment or two alone at the bar or something. But these days, when you start really just chatting with everybody, when you go out and there's people to talk to, if there's no one to talk to, you're kind of fucked. But if there's people to talk to, I'm talking to them. And I'm really just doing things. So that's what it is. It's constantly just going around and talking to people and having that energy and that confidence that you are the fucking man. And this is going to really drive most of the results for you. And this last one is key for long-term success, which is you're really going to want to develop connections with as many cool people as possible. So guys are highly underrated. You do not want to just focus on girls. Like a lot of guys go into nightlife, they're like, oh, I want girls. Or if they go out alone, they're just focusing on girls. Guys are so important to this whole thing. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've chatted with a bunch of guys and then I ended up seeing them later around and they knew girls, and because I'd already developed that rapport with them and they liked me, they were like, oh, this is my American friend. And then it gives that bridge of trust where the girls now get it's like a warm introduction where I'm not just some complete stranger coming up to a group of girls where there's guys around. Now the guys already know me. They want me to succeed. I'm their friend. And the girls also have a higher level of trust because I know the friends that they know. So it's so powerful to utilize relationships and networking and developing connections, even if it's just for the night. But really thinking long-term too, getting these guys on Snap, on Instagram, DMing them, trying to go out for a workout with them. And another area that's completely untapped is girls. Besides just getting with girls, if you become friends with girls too, and you can leverage that, that's extremely powerful because like I just mentioned how that, you can get the trust pass off from a guy. What's even more powerful is the trust pass off from a girl. If a girl gives you the okay to her friends, it's game over. It just basically comes down to that girl finding you attractive. If she does, there's not going to be any objections as there normally would. Especially when you're new somewhere, it can be a little hard to develop that trust with people. They're like, oh, who is this new guy, whatever. They may not want to come home with you, whereas if you grew up in the same city, especially in like the one I just came from the north, in Sweden, everyone kind of knows everyone. So if you find someone attractive, you've kind of known at least about them for most of your life. You know if they're good, if they're bad, and you can make an educated decision, whereas I'm coming as a blank slate. You can see how that kind of is impactful. So the more connections you develop, the more times you'll be like, oh yeah, this is my friend. And I've had girls actually wing me just like I was chatting with a girl, and then one girl that I knew who I was friends with and I'm charismatic and nice to her, she would be like, "Oh, you're with Sebastian, he's so nice." And that just like seals the deal even more. So the more connections you have, the more charismatic you are, the better you treat people as a whole, guys and girls, everything's just going to start to work out for you in the long game. So develop connections as much as you can, even with people like the guards. Sometimes I'll go out too early and I'll end up just befriending the guards real quick, just being charming, nice to them, and then they'll like let me in when everyone else is online, or things like that happen all the time, where they shake my hand when I walk in, and it's like, this guy who just came here, he knows everybody. It's a good look to have. And once again, this all boils down to charisma. The more charismatic you are, the more success you're going to have in nightlife. There's a direct correlation. That is why I built you the charisma guide. It's completely for free. It's the first thing in the description below. You can grab that now.